In the moment, it just felt like, what? Like, is this fun for him? Is this a test? This is the first time that I'm speaking about it. It's something that I'll never forget.
In the moment, it felt like I was questioning everything. Is this a test for him? Is he enjoying this? This is the first time I'm speaking about it, and I won't ever forget it. What unfolds next is one of the most jaw-dropping celebrity mysteries we've seen in recent times. Rumors, shocking allegations, and wild conspiracy theories surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. Once hailed as a hip-hop icon and business mogul, Combs now finds himself at the center of a whirlwind of scandal. But here's the real kicker. What if the true reason Diddy has been denied bail time and again isn't just about protecting witnesses or safety concerns?
The flight was always going to be a tough argument for the government because obviously Combs voluntarily came to New York. He surrendered his passports through his lawyer. He could have fled after the March raids of his Miami and Los Angeles homes, but he didn't. He has access to 2 private jets. I think it was a tougher argument. I know the government made the argument, but clearly the best argument was the dangerousness and the witness tampering. They had much more evidence.
Or safety concerns. What if, beneath the surface, there's an escape plan the authorities uncovered just in time? Fasten your seatbelts, because this story is packed with twists, turns, and revelations. The government's argument against Diddy's bail was always tough because, despite his immense resources, he voluntarily surrendered his passports and didn't flee after the raids on his Miami and Los Angeles homes. He has access to 2 private jets, but still, the government's case against him was grounded in something deeper, dangerous.
Legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day, oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes. And sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago, it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
Deeper, dangerousness, witness tampering, and alleged behavior behind bars. They argued he couldn't be trusted even in custody, but unofficially, there were whispers of something far more secretive. Despite offering a colossal $50 million as part of his bail package, yes, $50 million, the courts have turned him down at every attempt. To someone like Diddy, this amount is a grand gesture, practically screaming, "I'm not going anywhere." Yet, the court has remained firm in denying bail, citing concerns about his alleged influence, risk of witness tampering, and his defiance of rules. But unofficially, there's more. Rumors are swirling
that with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone. So
officially, there's more. Rumors are swirling about a potential escape plan involving Diddy's closest allies, including family members, all of whom are reportedly working together behind the scenes. The sheer idea of it is enough to send chills down anyone's spine. What's even more fascinating is the role his family plays in all of this. According to sources, the FBI may have uncovered intercepted communications suggesting that Diddy's team was planning a high-stakes escape. Rumors allege that private jets, decoy vehicles, and a network of safe houses were all part of the plan, with certain family members coordinating logistics while others...
Well, Sierra, anything's possible, right? But now this judge has an even harder time, I think, because the past judge locked him up, didn't let him out, and he's still there available for trial. If the new judge lets him out on bond and something goes wrong, and this isn't the analysis that I'm proud to make, right? We shouldn't be saying, well, judges are worried about their own skin and how they look if something bad happens.
Coordinating logistics while others offered financial support. Given Diddy's vast influence and connections, it's not entirely far-fetched to think that such an operation could have been within his reach. But how did the authorities uncover this plot? A combination of surveillance, intercepted messages, and, potentially, a mole within his inner circle. Imagine the tension if someone close to him, someone who knew all the details, decided to spill everything to the authorities. This would explain the court's firm stance against bail. If the
Try everything. They're going to try to transfer him. They're going to try to get him out. In a normal case where it's a high-profile person or a well-funded person, the prosecution and the judge is a little bit more concerned, about a wrongful prosecution, because people that are mad that they're being arrested for a crime they didn't commit can turn around and file for malicious prosecution.
Bail. If the FBI believed even a fraction of these rumors, letting him out would be too risky, no matter the price tag. Now, let's turn the spotlight back to the larger-than-life persona of Diddy. After his arrest, there were reports of his behavior in custody raising red flags. For example, he allegedly used other inmates' phone codes to make calls, some of which weren't just casual chats but attempts to reach out to witnesses. And then there was the infamous Contact Me ASAP messaging service, which he...
Every jail is bad, and some jails are worse than others. And the problem, again, is if you move him, why is he getting special treatment? And maybe he's earned special treatment. Maybe what he's done, maybe he's given so much back to his fans and to the world and to charity that maybe there's a way that it plays out in the end. But again, to go into court and say this jail is bad, move him to another jail, is not your first argument. That's sort of the...
service, which he allegedly continued to use even after promising the court to avoid it. While these may seem like minor infractions on the surface, they painted a picture of someone who was either defying the rules or playing a much deeper game. Adding fuel to the fire, rumors of his escape plan emerged at the same time his legal team was aggressively pushing for his release under house arrest. Some critics believe the house arrest request was a strategic move to make the escape easier. With a luxurious Manhattan...
They can't move in the general population. And would he be at risk? Sure, he'd be at risk. There's so many people that have nothing to lose, right? They're going to be in jail the rest of their life. They've got nothing else. They want their 15 minutes of fame. They were friends with Diddy, or they hurt Diddy, or they Diddy, or they did. I mean, there's so many, people in jail that this would be their moment. You can't put them there. Plus,
with a luxurious Manhattan apartment, private security, and control over his own arrangements, it could have served as the perfect launchpad for a getaway. And what about the timing of all this? While it seems far-fetched, the possibility of a full-scale escape plan involving multiple locations, international connections, and Diddy's vast network of influential people makes it a theory worth considering. Some of Diddy's closest associates and family members allegedly had their hands in the logistics, with certain members supposedly tasked.
But no one wants to be in prison. And you can imagine what happens when you take sort of 40 people, all of whom have been at least charged with crimes, and lock them in a single room for years on end and throw out the key, which is the most trivial things become all that people have left to care about.
With certain members supposedly tasked with coordinating the escape plan. If true, it's the kind of scheme that could make even the most experienced criminals envious. But here's the thing, if the rumors are true, and the FBI really did uncover such a plot, the implications could be massive. Not just for Diddy, but for his entire family, who might now find themselves in legal jeopardy. It's one thing for Diddy to be in trouble, but for his family to be dragged into the legal mess could have repercussions that go far beyond just him. It would be a family affair like no other, and the legal battles that would follow could alter their lives forever. As for Diddy...
What's Diddy like?
Obviously I've only seen one piece of him, which is, Diddy in prison. And, he's been kind to people in the unit. He's been kind to me. It's a position no one wants to be in. Obviously he doesn't, I don't, as you said, it's kind of a soul-crushing place for
his time behind
the
bars
world
is a
in
far
general.
cry from the life of luxury he once led. But let's not forget the complexities of this case, including the role of the FBI. If they really did thwart Diddy's escape plan, it would mark a significant victory for the agency, and let's be honest, they're not exactly shy about making headlines when they score a win. A celebrity escape thwarted by the FBI would only add more drama.
What we see are just the people that are around us on the inside, rather than who we are on the outside.
It would only add more drama to this already explosive case. As the investigation unfolds, we can only wait and speculate about what will come next. The unanswered questions pile up. What exactly did the FBI uncover? How deep does this alleged conspiracy run? And how will Diddy's legal team respond to these swirling accusations? For now, the case is far from over, and with every twist and turn, the public's perception of Diddy is shifting. Whether he's a victim of a flawed justice system or a mastermind trying to outwit the law, one thing is clear: this story is far from finished. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn isn't exactly a place known for its hospitality. So how is Sean Diddy Combs, a man once surrounded by luxury and excess, adapting to life in what many have described as hell on earth? Could these hard...
Some of them are, I think, are thinking like, wow, this is sort of a big opportunity, like, you know, to meet people they wouldn't otherwise get to meet, which is, it shocked me the first time I heard that. Right? It makes sense from their perspective, but like, boy, is that not how I think about prison.
Imagine this. Sean Combs, a man who once relaxed on yachts at sunset and partied in VIP sections at exclusive global hotspots, now wakes up to the relentless hum of fluorescent lights in a tiny 8 by 10 cell. It's a stark contrast to the life he's been accustomed to, isn't it? The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn is far from a 5-star retreat, and for someone like Diddy, the shift in reality is dramatic. But what if these conditions aren't just a byproduct of a flawed prison system? What if they're part of a larger strategy by the authorities to break him down, to push him to a point where he might consider cutting a deal? Diddy's reality has changed drastically. From the moment he entered MDC, he left behind a world of luxury. Picture this: each morning, he wakes up on a steel bed, with a mattress barely thicker than a magazine. No silk sheets, no designer robes, just prison-issued clothes and the harsh, unyielding reality of his situation. The walls of his small cell are cold and painted white, with no pillow to offer.
That's where Diddy has been for months now, but last week he was taken to the hospital. According to reports from the New York Post, Diddy was transported from MDC in the cover of darkness at about 10 p.m. on January 30th. He was taken to a Brooklyn hospital for an MRI after reporting issues with his knee.
White, with no pillow to offer any comfort. A man who once chartered private islands now struggles with even the simplest of luxuries. Recently, reports revealed that Diddy had knee issues, prompting his transport to a Brooklyn hospital on January 30th for an MRI. The shift from a life of indulgence to this reality is jarring. The Metropolitan Detention Center has a reputation for being one of the most chaotic and under-resourced facilities in the country, known for overcrowding, rampant violence, and minimal access to necessities. A former inmate described it as hell on earth, and for someone like Diddy, who lived so publicly and unapologetically large.
So apparently Diddy's knee has been bothering him recently, so he reported it. At some point, it was decided that he needed medical care outside of the jail, so he was taken to a Brooklyn.
And unapologetically large, the experience must feel surreal. Life inside MDC isn't easy. Diddy isn't your average inmate, he's a global icon, and though his fame doesn't shield him from the harsh conditions, it likely makes things more complicated. He's reportedly housed in a special unit, separated from the general population to ensure his safety. But while this might sound like a safer option, the isolation has its own set of challenges. This special housing unit offers little to no interaction with others.
So again, after that initial review of his current medical situation during his physical, and then there's follow-up to that process if there's something found, immediately. But, you have to understand, daily there are medical staff walking through the units, doing what we call sit call and asking inmates, are they okay? And then you have folks that are walking around.
No interaction with others and even less relief from the monotony of prison life. If the rest of the prison is tough, this unit is like its own form of psychological warfare. Reports have indicated that Diddy has made an effort to stay kind and approachable even in these grim conditions. Sam Bankman-Fried, the disgraced cryptocurrency mogul also held at MDC, described Diddy as kind in a recent interview, painting him as someone trying to maintain his humanity despite the bleak surroundings. But let's be clear, kindness doesn't equate to comfort. Diddy is still struggling to adjust to his new life, facing both physical and emotional challenges. The toll of incarceration.
Well, inmates have procedures all the time. You have folks there with cancer, you have folks there with, serious other chronic diseases. And sometimes it does require individuals to have surgery even while they're on pretrial status.
Of incarceration, particularly in such a facility, is immense. Some speculate that the authorities are using this environment to break Diddy, pushing him to the edge mentally and emotionally. A man used to power and control is now confined to a small cell with little autonomy. The mounting pressure could potentially force him into considering a deal. After all, time is a powerful tool, and authorities know that extended isolation can break even the most resilient. Interestingly, reports suggest that Diddy's mental well-being is being closely monitored, with a psychiatrist.
You know, I've had a lot of time to reflect on how to communicate. And in retrospect, you know, I think I was not effective at communicating, especially when the crisis first hit. And, you know, in the months thereafter, I made a mistake I often make. I get swept up in details and forget to communicate the bigger picture.
With a psychiatrist visiting him several times a day. The speculation is that he might even be placed in a bubble, where he's observed by guards at all times, ensuring constant surveillance. These restrictions are not just about ensuring safety, they could also be a means of controlling his narrative and behavior while he's behind bars. Let's dive a little deeper into the conditions of the prison itself. MDC has long been criticized for its unsanitary living conditions, frequent lockdowns that trap inmates in their cells.
Understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on watch.
That trap inmates in their cells, and food that many have described as barely edible. Some have even reported maggot-infested meals. For someone like Diddy, accustomed to fine dining, being served such meals must be a shocking reminder of how drastically his life has changed. Additionally, MDC has been plagued by violence, including stabbings, brawls, and even fatalities. Though Diddy is housed in a more secure section, the tension and fear that permeate the environment are inescapable. Every day in this facility is a mental and emotional challenge, and for someone like Diddy, whose identity has been built on power and control, it must feel like a constant battle to maintain a sense of agency. Another critical aspect of Diddy's situation is his access, or lack thereof, to his legal team. With a trial of this magnitude on the horizon, time, strategy, and resources are crucial. However, reports suggest that the restrictive conditions at MDC make it incredibly difficult for Diddy to work effectively with his lawyers. While he has been given access to a laptop with preloaded case materials, the limitations on how and when he can use it are significant. Preparing a defense under such constraints seems nearly impossible, and some are questioning whether that's exactly what the authorities want. The debate rages on: are these measures to prevent potential witness tampering and misconduct, or are they deliberately hindering Diddy's ability to mount an effective defense? As the trial date inches closer, it's clear that the stakes are high for Diddy and for everyone involved in this case. As we watch this high-stakes drama unfold, questions continue to swirl. Will Diddy's mounting isolation push him to strike a deal, or will he hold firm and fight to clear his name? The future is uncertain, and the tension surrounding.
Some people do think that Diddy can help him, but this guy's going to be locked up forever. His case will probably take at least 3 years to litigate. He'll stay at MDC. There's rumors that he wants to go to Essex County Jail in New Jersey because he doesn't like MDC. He's a Marshall's inmate. There's no way they're going to transfer him back and forth, I don't know, several times a week.
To strike a deal, or will he hold firm and fight to clear his name? The future is uncertain, and the tension surrounding his case only grows. Will Diddy emerge from this ordeal a changed man? Or is this the end of an era? Only time will tell. As the story continues, the rumors and speculations are only growing. Could there be more behind Diddy's refusal to cooperate with authorities? And what role might his family play in this complicated situation? Whether you see Diddy as a mastermind trying to outwit the system or a victim of a broken justice system, one thing is clear: the world will be watching, and this is a story you won't want to miss.
It's a question of that, but when you read through the indictment, it's pretty clear who could be indicted as a co-conspirator. Right now, there are people in the indictment who would be considered unnamed co-conspirators, but clearly have played a role in this conspiracy. And I think prosecutors have some big leverage on them because they're hoping that they testify against Diddy as prosecution witnesses.